Get ready to immerse yourself in a world of vision, inspiration, belonging, and empowerment. Brought to you by Naturals to Go, the VIBECast is your gateway to realizing your entrepreneurial dreams. In each episode, we're here to ignite your entrepreneurial spirit, offering you the tools and insights you need to turn your dreams into reality. We're all about fostering a powerful vision, sparking inspiration, nurturing a sense of belonging, and providing the empowerment you need to thrive. So sit back, relax, and get ready to dive into the vibe. It's time to take your entrepreneurial journey to the next level. Thank you for joining us, and let's start living the vibe.
Hey folks, welcome to VIBECast. This is Linda Ballesteros and I am your host today. And we're doing a special episode today because we want to spotlight one of our shining stars. And we want to tell you a little bit about some of the people that work with us. So today we're going to be talking with Keith Bell. Keith is a very colorful person. He's had a very colorful background and he's going to share some of that with us. But Keith has just recently received the Award of Excellence, the Naturals to Go Award of Excellence that we hand out to some of our shining stars in the company. So, Keith, thank you so much for being here today. I know that you lead a very tight schedule, so carving out some time can sometimes be a challenge, but I really appreciate you being here.
I appreciate you and also with the company for giving me a chance.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, what we love to do is to introduce some of the people that work so very hard to make sure that our owner-operators are successful. And that's exactly what you do, Keith. But before we start talking about that, I want to hear a little something about your background. I teased them just a little bit in the intro saying that you have a colorful background. So tell us a little bit about that.
All right. So basically, one of my college buddies, good friend of mine, after I was let go from where I was laid off by Google, he asked what it is that I'm doing. What am I doing now? And I said nothing. You know, I was kind of beat up about it. And that friend is also our brand ambassador, Rashad Evans. And we were captains of the wrestling team in college at State University of New York in Niagara. And then everybody knows his story, so no need to get into that. But in turn, just sitting around watching TV, I saw that he was on a show, and the show, The Ultimate Fighter, was on. And I decided to start. I started training shortly thereafter. 12 years later, retired. And that led me here. I was a professional MMA fighter. I was in the cage for 12 years. Now, since having been retired, I am now a North Carolina, certified North Carolina MMA referee. Our scheduling keeps me from being able to utilize that certification. But yeah, no, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It really tied into what it is that I use a lot of that time in the cage, time in training, learning rejection. I try to implement ideas that I used in the cage then to kind of solidify what it is that I do now, as far as like having the ability to talk to people, being jovial, and like just trying to read the room, because you have to. Because the fight game is nothing but a chess game, and it's no different than what we do here. It's just that nobody's going to punch me in the face if they don't want one of our machines. Hopefully not.
And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, you're right. But if so, I'm prepared. But yeah. So that's pretty much how I try to take what I've done in the past and bring it to the forefront now. And it's been working alongside with the tutelage that I've been given from Naturals to Go in the with the what's the word I'm looking for with the senior level management. I've got nothing but help from them, and they're nothing but my coaches. I've been definitely guided in the right direction, and I do believe that all of my supervisors that I've had between Eric Nidell, Coburn, and now Rob Pastor. Now that I'm moved on to a separate team. Now I'm on to Rob's team, and there's each guy has their own style. Mm-hmm. When I was with Coburn, if you don't know him, it's Coburn, and I attribute a lot to him, and I do believe that if I didn't mention Eric, who was my first supervisor, everybody, like I said, everybody has their own style, and I take a little bit from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from here, similar to what I did when I was in my former profession, where I watched that guy, like, oh, okay, that might work for me, watch a little guy do a move, that might work. This one might not work. You have to take what's given to you. And
Keith, you talked about it being that when you were in the MEMA, it was sort of like a chess game. And I've often wondered about this in seeing how I did not know Rashad when he was fighting, just like I did not know you before, when you were fighting. But it just makes me wonder, how do you prepare mentally for a fight like that? Is there a space you get into that removes all doubt? Is there a ritual or something that you would do to prepare yourself mentally to step into that cage?
Yes. So if you've never attended or seen an MMA fight live, there's a portion where you're in the back preparing, warming up, what have you, and then you have to, you have somebody with a camera right in front of you, and they ask you if you're ready to go, and then they like, all right, you're ready to go, and then they open up the doors, and there's 5,000 people sitting there waiting for you to, something bad could happen, something good could happen. A lot of good has happened. And so they start playing your intro music, right? Whatever you decide that you want to play. So when I show up to a spot, a location, what I do is I'll have my music playing, but then I just realize, as I did in my career, it's just a fight. If you take it any more seriously than that, then it's just a fist fight with the referee there. If you take it seriously, if you take it any more seriously than that, then you can get lost. So the way I bring that into what we do is, what I do, it is, I go in there with an open mind, like, hey, there's only certain things that could happen. I've been trained up, and I've been preparing for this moment. Every moment that I go to, it's a different person. It's a different potential client for Naturals to go. And so I walk in with a clear mind, knowing I've been trained properly. I've done all the steps to go into whatever business it is, whoever I need to talk to. And then once you get into a potential client with the point of contact, now you have to think on your feet. So it's like a pony right in front of you, and then so it's like, okay, well, this isn't working, that's not working, but you have to internally, your mind's racing. So you have to make, if you see somebody who's stone faced, don't make a joke. They're not gonna, it's funny, and then it's like, okay, well, I'll find something in the room, like, Washington fan. You're like, okay, so you're from DC, and then it gets them thinking about other things outside of what it is that you're there for. You're like, oh, here we go. This guy's going to try to sell me something. How much does it cost? And then we get into what we've been taught. So that's how I correlate. That's how I correlate.
So it's all about being adaptable. It's all about being flexible. It's all about, like you said before, reading the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
It's no different in any other aspect of life. Like you go to the store, see somebody having a bad day, and you can see it visibly. I'll tend to say something because I'm a talker, and one of the funny things is when I told Rashad about this, that this awesome honor that I'm being bestowed in. And he goes, man, it's crazy. He goes, you're getting paid to run your mouth now, and it's the truth, I get cool places need for people to listen to me.
Yeah. And for those people that are maybe listening and they don't know exactly what your role is with Naturals to Go, tell us a little bit about how you help these new operators find those best locations for their machines.
It's not pretty simple. Like I had to start from, being a little tentative, going into markets that I was not familiar with. And, you start here, right? And then, so once you get to your next place, your next location, your next market, next campaign, you start to see what it is that the other vendors, the other potential clients, what they were saying. And so now that I've amassed a certain number of companies that I've placed in, now it gets to the point where I'll go look for them. I'll use them. I'll use the continuity that I have with another client that I could just walk in. Be like, they're like, oh, you know what, sir, we're fine. Be like, oh yeah, no. Cynthia from Little Rock, Arkansas, she told me to say hey to Brittany when I got into town. They're like, oh, Brittany? Winner, so it's like there's definitely levels to it. So
it's all about connections, right? It's building those relationships. It doesn't matter what business you're in. It is about relationship.
It is. And so when I get to any market that I'm in, like just now, where was I? I was in Fort Lauderdale 2 weeks ago, and I think I've placed X amount of machines at 5 different ATP flight schools. And so placed one there, and then I come back home, didn't know that there was one here because I didn't know. I started in October, and somewhere in December, there's no way I would have known what ATP was. But now that they have over like 50 some odd branches throughout the country, there's not a city I won't go to, get right in the car and go right to an ATP. Yeah. Because I've attained that knowledge because of being in the field, and that those are just little things that you pick up along the way.
And so, as you're making those connections, Keith, are you also helping the new owner operators to kind of develop some of those skills so they could do the self-locating themselves at some point?
Yes, some operators they go in and they just shoot from the hip with no real thought process behind it. A lot of operators they seem to think that if I can do it, they can do it, right? But then you have to have reasons behind it. I try to explain to operators like to who to talk to in specific locations. You're not going to talk to the GM all the time. The GM doesn't have time for you. The service manager does, but when you, and what is it? What was I going to say? So when you're trying to tell an operator, you're trying to coach an operator up, they have to like take what you have amassed as far as like intellect for the position, but it takes time because a lot of them are like terrified of suits.
Yeah.
Suit and tie, corporate settings, and it's and that's okay. Not everybody's gonna have the gift of gab, but I've had several operators call me back. I've had operators call me, and then I just had one text me today that said that I was persistent, and I'm like, well, that's part of the game. Like some people are like, oh, I don't feel like I don't want to bug them. Uh-huh. I'm like, look, if you don't pay your light bill, the power company is going to bug you. So this is what you're trying to get across to them. Hey, take a chance. There's only one way it's going to go. Yes or no. That's it.
Yeah. And if we started off with a casual conversation, it's like anything else. then it doesn't feel like you're bugging them. Like, hey, just having that casual conversation to reconnect. It doesn't feel like a sales pitch, really. You're just checking in on them. So, again, we talked a little bit about how those skills when you were a fighter, how that applied, and persistence is definitely one of those, right? That you constantly have to be in the game. And just because maybe you lost one, you don't quit, do you?
No, you can't. Because now there were some times where I would get beat up on, as far as, not literally speaking, but like I'll go into market and, I'll hear something from different operators saying, oh, there's a lot of us here. It's really saturated in this area. And then I'll call, this is when I was with Eric, and I'll call him. I'm like, hey man, it's tough out here. Like there's nobody wants to talk. And then he's like, hey, look. And then he gave me the same analogy I'm giving you. He goes, when you're in the cage, he's like, do you just like give up? I'm like, and so look, and if he wasn't like spot on, the very next place I went to, like, yeah, we'll take 2 machines. And I'm like,
oh, wow. Okay. See, so, perfect example.
It's just the moment you lose focus, it's like everything that, why even get on the plane to go to
yeah.
Go to?
Yeah. Yeah. I heard something today, Keith, and it kind of dovetails with what you're saying. I heard they described faith as being a bridge between where you are today and where you want to be. Mm-hmm. So it's all about having that faith, and the faith is the bridge that connect those two. So as long as you continue to have faith that you're going to be able to build your business, you're going to be able to find locations, it'll happen.
No, it's I do like that quote too. I'm gonna need you to text me that when when we get off the call. Yeah. But yeah, no, because it's if you go in, I mean, of course you're gonna have anxiety. That's actually a feeling, like, and that's fine. How are you going to use that anxiety? How are you going to use it? Are you going to clam up? Because most do, and that's okay, right? But that's a fear. And so like when I get in, when I used to get into the cage, that fear, it's like, okay, you're a little bit quicker because you're a little bit jumpier, right? And so like now it gets to the point where I don't get anxious. The only time I get anxious is when I know a yes is coming, and I can hear it. I can hear it come. They're like, you know what? Sure. And I'm like, that's
yes.
No, so definitely if you go into market with a negative mindset, that's not the, self-doubt, as I thought I heard somewhere, is a rest haven for, self-doubt is, I'm going to find that quote, but it was basically saying like, if you don't believe in yourself, once you get into market, it's just going to build and build with every rejection that you get. And, but if you get yourself on a yes train, you know what, take a card, okay, cool. Can I leave my card or can I leave my flyer? Sure. That's fine. I have another legal system. I can call them back in a week. They may call me when I leave. At least keep moving forward. That's the only thing that you can do is keep moving forward.
Right, exactly. And so as we're talking about this, Keith, I'm thinking you've taken all of these skills that you've learned, whether it was with Google or whether it was when you were in the cage. And it seems to me that has what propelled you to receive this award of excellence, is that you've pushed yourself in the same way that you did when you were in the cage.
Oh yeah. No, it's it took a lot, because as it's tough that you, as a locator, wife and I just got married in 22, and it was kind of tough, the first couple, first little bit being away from home, but then she sees that I'm living up to what it is that other people saw in me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really panned out in the right direction. It doesn't. I mean, if you're single and you have availability, go and do your thing. But like it's a lot more. It's a lot of different factors that come in when you have to leave certain times. I'm not going to be readily available every time you call, like I was when I'm driving around in a truck. There's certain factors that all led to now staying with you, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So, because you're married and you have 3 daughters.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They, Lily, Gabby, and Angel, not in that order. My oldest daughter, she just turned, oh, good Lord. She just turned 26.
Oh, wow.
26. She was a double major, triple minor at Oregon State. And then she went to Michigan State and received her master's in 6 years in succession. Like, didn't take a break, didn't pay a red cent for school. And now she's in a big girl job, and then Liliana, she'll be 16 in November. She'll be a junior. She should be a junior in high school. And then my youngest daughter, she'll be 14 on Monday.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, they're at a baby stage for if for only a moment, and so, yeah, no, very, very proud of all of what they've done. Cause I mean, hopefully they've seen what I've done as far as not when things get bad, when I got laid off, they saw how I reacted to that. Dad, you're not mad? I'm like, I don't know. Didn't say I wasn't upset. It's just, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do about it? Am I just going to clam up and sit around and feel sorry for myself? Or am I going to, figure something out? Luckily, I have great friends that have put me in a position to put me where I'm at now. And now I take this seriously. Like I get hurt like into my soul when I don't do what I'm going to say I'm going to do for these operators. And it's very evident, and you can ask any one of them, and they'll all tell you the same. Like, they're like, man, no, Keith, it's okay, Keith. I'm like, don't tell me. It's, in my mind, it's okay, because it's not. It's the end of the world for me, because I've always put myself in a, through wrestling, through football and everything. And I've always been here. Like, I can't go back. There is no backwards. It's all forward.
Well, Keith, if there is someone listening and, maybe they are thinking about becoming an owner operator, and they're wondering, how does that locating thing work? And does it really work? What would you tell them if they have any doubts about how our system or how iProcess works? What would you tell them that would give them some comfort around that?
Well, I would tell them that there is enough senior leadership in the trainings that we do, in the standard operating procedures that we're held by, that believe that any locator that's going to be put in the market has been trained, adequately trained, has been trained by some of the best locators that are. I would put Eric and Coburn on any platform in any market, and I would trust 1,000% in them. And I have that as a resource. So I would tell the owner operator, like, hey, look, this is look at what these gentlemen have put together. Look at their resume. And then in turn, you and I are having this conversation because of what they've done. So I can give them a peace of mind in saying, look, you understand that you're going to be given the highest attention. You're going to be given, you're going to get the best effort from anybody that's going to be here, and I'm not just talking about myself. Like there's a whole team of locators that I pick little parts from, we'll talk in our meetings. I'm like, yeah, I'll try that. Just know that we'll be prepared, and you should have a peace of mind of knowing that once we get into market, we know exactly where to go. We know exactly what to do. We know how to handle rejection or any kind of interruption, and that when you think, so when we get there, we're gonna follow up with you every day. If there's locations that you feel as though you want, then tell us, because we're working together. I work for you, yes, but at the same time, talk to me. I'm not just going to go in the market, get 4 and just get back on a plane and then go back home. No, like this is a relationship that we've built. This is a step in the direction that you chose to go through. So why, who am I to just not take that as seriously as what you've done? This is not an expensive game. This is not something you can, okay, you know what? We'll just try it out. No, this is your business, and let me help you create your business. And
yeah, I love that, Keith. And again, I want to congratulate you for winning the Award of Excellence, and it's certainly well deserved. You have the passion, you have the commitment that we really respect in this company, because you see that is a characteristic that is a common thread throughout this company, is the commitment and the passion. So you certainly have filled the bill and taking it a notch above. So thanks again for sharing your story with us. And again, congratulations. That's exciting.
Linda, thank you so much. This is I honestly have not been, there's been days, like I said, back where I feel down and feel sorry about myself. And I just have the best people and the best tutelage in raising me up to where I'm at now. And, like we said earlier, everything that I've done in my life leads to this moment, talking to you now, Linda, and you've done nothing. This is doing nothing but getting me more and more excited about being with Naturals to Go, as like I said, as the ones who have given me a chance and to, give me the freedom to do whatever it is that I want to now,
I love that. Well, again, Keith, thank you so much. And folks, I always leave you with a quote. So this is a quote from Napoleon Hill. I love Napoleon Hill. So this quote goes like this: "It is literally true that you can succeed best and quickest by helping others to succeed." That's what Keith is doing. He is doing exactly that. He is helping others to succeed. And look, he just won the Award of Excellence. So it took him on the same ride with them. So folks, thanks so much for joining me today on VIBECast. Until I see you next time, let's go out and live the vibe.
That's a wrap for this episode of the VIBECast. We hope you've been inspired and empowered on your entrepreneurial journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all your favorite platforms to stay connected with the Vibe community. Until next time, keep nurturing that strong vision, fueling your inspiration, and embracing a sense of belonging and empowerment. Your dreams are within reach, so keep living the vibe.